Welcome to This Week in Leadership Research, episode number 7. Each week, I share a recently published journal article on leadership research. My goal is to translate the most up-to-date leadership research to leadership practices that can help you in your daily work. This week, I'll try to answer a question. Does offering high compensation to employees have unintended ethical consequences? Put differently, do above market average high compensation employees more likely to engage in unethical behavior that benefits their employers but harm innocent others? This is the question posted in an article titled High Compensation and Unethical Reciprocity. The article was published in Journal of Management in 2022. The link of the article is in the description section below. You may wonder, why researchers even ask these questions? Where did the researchers get the idea to think there may be a link between high compensation and unethical behavior? This is how the researchers developed their argument and hypothesis. Their theoretical argument originated from social exchange theory, which explains social interactions as exchanges of both material and non-material resources, such as money, liking and disliking, friendship, and altruism. According to social exchange theory, social interactions are often based on reciprocity. On the one hand, people who give much to others try to get much from them. On the other hand, people who get much from others are under pressure to return favors. People tend to seek a balance between their rewards and effort. If we apply social exchange theory to explain the social exchange between employer and employee, we can develop an argument that when employees are compensated generously by their employer, they reciprocate that generosity in a positive way by working hard. When employees are compensated poorly, they are poorly motivated. Moreover, those poorly compensated employees are likely to cheat, shirk, and engage in malfeasant behaviors to express their dissatisfaction. Why? They may feel they're exploited by the employer. They may interpret it as distributive injustice, which refers to unfairness of outcome distribution in organizations. Injustice evokes anger in people, and that anger gives employees a desire to retaliate and sabotage their employers by stealing, goofing off, and sabotaging. This type of negative reciprocity is called reciprocal deviance. How to reduce reciprocal deviance? You may think because reciprocal deviance is caused by not paying employees enough. To solve the problem, we just need to address the root cause by paying employees handsomely. For employees to reciprocate their generous compensation, they'll feel obligated to work hard. Then both the employers and employees are happy, a win-win situation. What can go wrong in this argument? The problem is that we assume an equivalent exchange between the employer and employee. It is not always the equivalent exchange. It is possible that an employee is willing to go the extra mile to pay back their employer's high compensation by engaging in ethically questionable reciprocity to benefit their employers at the expense of others. For example, they may break rules or even break laws, or selling unsafe products to customers to help their employers. This is why the researchers wanted to test whether high compensation employees are more likely to engage in unethical reciprocity to benefit their employer at the expense of others. The researchers conducted 3 studies. The first 2 studies were carried out in labs, where participants were asked to play games. In those games, researchers manipulated participants' wage offers and measured unethical reciprocity. Here I focus on the researchers' third study, in which they went out of the lab and collected data about police officers. The researchers wanted to test whether higher salaries were positively related to the likelihood of police officers conducting illegal searches and making false arrests. The researchers focused on Chicago Police Department. They first collected data on police officers' salary. Then they collected data on civilian allegations against Chicago police officers from the Citizens Police Data Project at the Invisible Institute, which is an organization that serves as a clearinghouse for the data. On the website, there were data about allegations classified under 19 different categories from 1988 to 2018. The researchers focused on the allegations of illegal searches and false arrests because these two types of allegations are most relevant to the study. The researchers collected a total of 44,800 allegations of illegal searches and false arrests against 10,339 police officers. To rule out other factors that may influence the likelihood of allegations against police officers, the researchers controlled officers' age, gender, race, tenure, and major performance awards that officers received. What were the results? As the researchers hypothesized, the police officers' salary were positively related to their likelihood of engaging in illegal searches and false arrests. For each 1 unit increase in police officers' basic salary, the number of illegal actions is multiplied by 10.9. For each unit increase in average basic salary, the average number of illegal actions is multiplied by 2.73. How to apply the findings in this article to leadership practices that can help us in our daily work? You may want to consider how to improve your employees' satisfaction with their pay and compensation without encouraging unethical reciprocity. Of course, merit pay and pay differentials are necessary, but when employees are compensated generously, an intended consequence is that those employees may feel strongly obligated to enhance their employer's economic outcomes, resulting in unethical reciprocity that is harmful to innocent others. They're not necessarily motivated by personal gain. Neither do they expect their managers to reward their unethical reciprocity as the next return favor. Instead, high compensation may simply induce their affinity and appreciation, making them more willing to promote their manager's interests, sometimes even in an unethical manner. What can we do about it? In organizations, we can actively promote values of fairness, impartiality, and honesty. If you pay your employees generously and then emphasize on loyalty and commitment, you may have encouraged employees to engage in unethical reciprocity. You can also promote transparency in pay decisions. You need to pay your employees fairly and be transparent about it. If you are a researcher, I hope the article I introduced today can offer some inspirations for your research. If you are a leader or aspire to be a leader, I hope this article can guide you in your leadership practices. Stay open-minded, get inspired, and never stop improving your leadership skills. I'll see you next week in This Week in Leadership Research.